Richard Webster here with Ethoplex. It is a beautiful day today, and on this Wireless Wednesday, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about something called latency. So what is latency when it comes to the internet? Every time that you make a data request on the internet, there is a packet of data. It's not basically an entire file. It chops it down into little bits of data, and they call it a packet. And that packet of data is basically shot over the internet. It hits where it had to go, and then comes back. For example, if I did a search on Google and I hit enter, as soon as I hit enter, that information is broken up into those little packets, thrown across the internet over to Google's servers, and then it has to come back with an answer. And that time it takes for that packet of data to travel to Google and back is measured in milliseconds, and they call that latency. Or you may even hear a lot of gamers or other people call it the ping time. It's basically the same thing. It's the time it takes for that packet of data to travel across the internet and back. So there's a lot of ISPs that don't really ever talk about their latency because most of them, especially with the traditional copper in the ground style internet, is that it is very slow. A lot of times carriers will boast, we have 50 meg, 100 meg, 200 meg internet, but their latencies are very slow. And this is why it's important to have a fast, very low latency. The lower the better. Because every time you do a little transaction on the internet, every time you click, every time you use the scroll wheel, a packet of data is going to be sent across. Not only your actions, but there's a lot of other programs on your computer also fighting and jockeying for basically that same internet connection. So if you have an internet connection that has a very high, poor, slow latency, when you're clicking and your antivirus is searching and your other programs are updating and you're all trying to jockey and fight for that internet connection, it's going to feel very, very, very slow, especially when you add in more people in the home. The more people on the internet, the more clicks, the more scrolls, the more programs are all fighting for that internet. For example, many people out in the country usually have to elect to get satellite internet. Probably one of the worst when it comes to long latencies. Satellite latency is anywhere from 500 to 2,000 milliseconds. That is an eternity when it comes to an internet connection. Now you take that and you multiply that by how many people are in the home and all the programs and all the different devices that are all trying to use that internet. It is going to feel like an eternity to try to get anything done. If you have to remote, especially if you're a gamer. With satellite, the latency of 2,000 milliseconds is about 2 seconds. When you multiply that with how many other clicks and things have been done before you clicked, you now have to wait in line 2 seconds times maybe 4. So you may have to actually click and wait about 8 seconds. That is an eternity. If you think about it, satellite has to take your data and transmit it from your home all the way up about 20,000 miles into the atmosphere, then back down. Hit the server, then go all the way back up another 20,000 miles, and then back down to your home. Hence the 2,000 millisecond. And sometimes your internet browser can be a little impatient and then it even time out. And if it times out, that'll make you really frustrated because now it is kind of locking things up and you can't move forward until it decides that it's going to just forget about the lost packet. With Ethoplex and Signal Internet, we use a system called fixed wireless. And we have basically towers all over southeastern and eastern Wisconsin, all the way up to Fond du Lac, as far south as Cudahy, from the shore of Lake Michigan out to Oconomowoc. Basically, we have a radio that is mounted to the side of your home or on the roof that points to a tower. And those packets of data only have to travel a couple miles versus 20,000 miles. And so radio to radio with Ethoplex and Signal Internet, it is light speed and it actually only takes less than a millisecond to go from radio to radio. Now when you add in a couple different pieces of network hardware and switches and cabling, you're probably going to be about 10 or under milliseconds. That's actually on par with fiber. Fiber is 8 to 10 milliseconds. So in many cases, we're actually even faster than fiber the closer you are to the tower. Typically, customers out in the country are still going to see somewhere between 10 and 15 milliseconds, which is amazing when you compare it to the 50 milliseconds of traditional copper in the ground internet. If you work from home, if you do a lot of remoting, if you're doing a lot of scrolling and clicking in Facebook, a lot of shopping online, if you have gamers in the country that are swearing at their Xboxes, get them our internet and it will be a lot faster. You know, if you think about it, when they're trying to play with their friends, they're probably, I don't know, playing Minecraft or Fortnite, and their friend is even in the city with their really fast, they think they're very fast internet connection on their traditional copper line. You are probably going to win if you have us, because they have to wait 50 milliseconds between trigger fires. You only have to wait 10 milliseconds with us. I hope this has been very informative for you. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, sales@ethoplex.com or sales@signalisp.com. I hope you all have a great and wonderful day.